All right, you got some talks that Detroit Pistons are interested and will pursue Toronto guard Fred VanVleet, according to Shams. Shout out to Shams. He was holding it down with Adrian Wojnarowski. He was suspended for some comments he made to a politician. But let's get to it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video, and I'm okay. I told you a couple weeks ago in my video I'm all right with them pursuing Fred VanVleet. Does it give Detroit Piston fans Ben Gordon vibes? Yeah, he kind of reminds you of Ben Gordon. Undersized two guard, combo guard that can instantly score. And Ben Gordon got here and got his money and pretty much fell off. And he went down to Orlando, and then you haven't heard from him again. And sometimes it's the personality. Some guys get cashed out, and it didn't work. I mean, we took Ben Gordon from Chicago. They took Ben Wallace, and it just didn't work for either one of the franchise. So I think Fred VanVleet seemed to probably have different vibes than Ben Gordon. Seemed like he a good guy. Seemed like he worked hard, but also the Suns, the Knicks are pursuing him as well. But I wouldn't be mad if we got him. But there's some things in place that you got to have before you get him. You got to have a bigger guard next to him. Him and Kyle Lowry eventually gonna run into problems in the playoffs when they play the bigger guys in the backcourts, when they get to playing the Middletons, the Bledsoes, or the Heroes, and the Goran Dragic's. They're gonna have some issues defending those guys, or wherever you get to. So, right now, Lowry and Fred VanVleet is working, but eventually when you get to the bigger backcourts, you're going to have some issues. But luckily for them, they have good rim protectors in Gasol and Pascal Siakam, aka Spicy P, and Serge Ibaka. So, I mean, when you get Fred VanVleet, you probably want to draft Killian Hayes or Tyrese Halliburton, what his name is. He got a funky shot that I don't like, though. But you're probably looking to get like a Killian Hayes. You don't want to put him in there with a smaller point guard, and you have a small backcourt. It worked for Isaiah and Joe Dumars, but Isaiah and Joe Dumars defended at a high level, okay? And they had the guys behind them to clean up the mess. So, when you think about getting Fred VanVleet, you better be able to get one of those bigger point guards in this draft. And if you don't, you're just going to have a really, really small backcourt. Now, is he high on my priority list? No. Am I angry if they don't get him? No, absolutely. I'm not angry if they don't get Fred VanVleet. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? I think I like Malik Beasley better than Fred. See, I think it's that he's a two guard that really haven't got his opportunity to start. I think he can be a Chauncey Billups for you, a guy that can come here and turn it around. You give him a bigger opportunity. He could defend. He can score. He can do everything. And I'm more of a Malik Beasley guy. He's a guy that can get out there, better size, better strength. Not saying he's a better player, but I think you can get a lot out of him being at the two guard position. If you put him with a point guard, it may work. And if it don't work, you could bring him off the bench like he was coming off the bench in Denver. I think he's in Minnesota now. I like his game a lot. Bojan Bojanovic, he's another guy. I like his game a lot. A little bit bigger than Fred VanVleet. Maybe just as costly as Fred VanVleet, but he's a guy who can get buckets. You could bring him off the bench in that Ben Gordon role. He can facilitate, and I think that's the next evolution to his game. If he learned to kind of, facilitate and set guys up more and not score as much, he can be a problem. But, there's alternatives and cheaper alternatives out there than Fred VanVleet, but I don't think it's going to make or break them. But Fred VanVleet said his ideal situation is re-signing back in Toronto. So he wants to be in Toronto. But don't forget, Fred VanVleet is a guy that the Pistons worked out before the draft, and they still didn't draft him. I mean, they worked out Devon Mitchell and all these other guys, and they just don't know how to scout talent. And hopefully Troy Weaver is able to change that. He's able to scout talent and bring him in here, and don't rule out them drafting a two guard. RJ Hampton is a guy that's flying under the radar as well too, that the Pistons may end up drafting. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not imperative they're going to take a point guard, but if you take Fred VanVleet, then you already building an undersized backcourt. If you don't take a point guard this draft with Derrick Rose and Fred VanVleet, I think, and also Bruce Brown, you need to go out there. If you get Fred VanVleet, you need to go out there and get a bigger point guard. And Killian Hayes is the guy to get. Don't forget, they got another guy down there that played with I'm calling him Siakam, with Seiko Diambo from France. So if the Pistons don't get a point guard early on, let's say they want to go Obi or RJ Hampton or whatever, they can trade back into the first round and still get the dude from France. His stock just dropped because he had some injuries. They can try to trade back into the lottery get Tyrese Maxey as well too. So like I said, it's a lot of different situations, scenarios that the Pistons can do. I mean, Derrick Rose is a trading chip. People don't want to hear it, but he already said he's going back to Chicago. Remember, Drummond said, "I can't wait to be a free agent." You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of just different bargaining chips they can deal with. I mean, Luke Kennard is a bargaining chip that can get you back in the first round. I mean, I'm pretty much giving up on him because he can never stay healthy. But like I said before, it's okay that they're pursuing Fred VanVleet. I have no issue with it. I think Fred VanVleet is a good player, but it's just how they're going to utilize him. Especially, if you don't have a rim protector behind him, you got to have a rim protector behind them when you have an undersized backcourt. So if they do take him, get a bigger point guard to play along with him. If they don't take him, you know what I'm saying, it's okay. But you got to have a rim protector behind them. So if they let Christian Wood go and don't get a center, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. But I think Fred VanVleet is probably better left off staying in Toronto. But if the money is monumental compared to what they're offering in Toronto, then I can see a scenario where he do leave. You know what I'm saying? Because they got Norman Powell, and if Norman Powell is healthy, he's been playing at a high clip as well. And also Kyle Lowry is a guy they've been throwing in trade. So Toronto could kind of change the trajectory of where they're going, by letting Fred VanVleet go, start Norman Powell. They got that Terrence Jones guy. They kind of going in the right direction where they probably can move on from Kyle Lowry this season, and they probably can move on from Fred VanVleet as well. And if they find him a point guard, somewhere around the way, they can be in the position to reload. Obviously, Marcus Gasol, Serge Ibaka, they got a lot of free agents, and they're going to have some money to play with. So I think they're going to be real selective on who they bring in and who they don't bring in as well, too. So Toronto really hold a lot of the cards for a lot of their players because they got a lot of free agents coming up. And also, it's been a lot of talks for the past couple of years, them thinking about trading Kyle Lowry. So we'll see pretty much where they go and kind of where the bargaining chips. But right now, they prepared to build around Pascal Siakam. And, in a way, they got a lot of guys that may not come back. Paul Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Fred VanVleet. They can move Kyle Lowry. That team could look a lot different, and it's probably Pascal Siakam team at this point. I know it'd be hard for them to leave or move on from Mr. Canada or Mr. Toronto Raptor Kyle Lowry, but at some point they got to move on from him and get some why his stock is still high. And the Lakers was another team that was interested in him allegedly or rumored last year. So we'll see what they do. But I can see a scenario where they let the majority of those guys go and start building that team. Once again, Gasol old, Ibaka really ain't giving them that much like he used to. So I can see a scenario where some things change in Toronto and Fred VanVleet can come across the border, across that Ambassador Bridge and play for the Detroit Pistons. But the Pistons better have some things set when they do that. But I don't think they should spend that money on Fred VanVleet, but I wouldn't be mad if they did. I would understand. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, response to your video questions. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation, Cash App, PayPal in the description. Best way to donate is share the video. And also check my other channel out, Goodfellas Sports TV, right here on YouTube. And also, don't forget to check out the Detroit Pistons Talk playlist one time for the one time we go.